Alright, welcome back. We're on to the next step. I got a little brass doobly so the fuel line is kind of hooked up properly. This does not seem to have an adjustable voltage regulator. It's done off of the throttle. So what I'm going to do is get this cut off, get my mount made up for the new panel. I'm going to get everything wired so that it'll be easier to, I'll have some place to plug a multimeter in. That'll make that easier. Yeah. So that's what I want to do today. I'd like to get a chunk of this done. You can't quite see, but yeah, like that. I'm going to leave this one. We're going to cut this one off, and our new panel is going to go from our spring mount here that's just out of frame to up here somewhere. We're going to do some cutting and welding around this plastic tank. I don't have a lot of space in here. I don't have very much power in here. So we're just going to kind of do this as we can do it. I got Craftsman cordless with the whiz wheel. So we'll zap these welds off, and it's going to be loud. So in edit, turn the volume down, speed it up. Bob's your uncle. That ought to do it. So I had a few hammers in here. They were on the shelves, kind of had a where all the hammers were, a little section. And I have taken them from here and used them other places and then left them in those other places. I will learn nothing from this, and it will be a continuing theme. So we're going to use this pipe hammer, pop that loose. I don't know if you could see that. I'm going to come down here. Focus, focus. And it tore the metal right out of that. But that's okay. We'll probably fill it with weld when we get to that step. Oh, whoops. As much as I love this battery-powered grinder, in like a good setup shop, what I frequently do when I'm on the clock doing some kind of project like this, so if you have multiple grinders, you can just leave a grinding wheel on one, leave a cutoff wheel on one, or you can have a grinding wheel and a flap disc, or whatever. That way, instead of having to switch this out, you just set this down and pick up your other grinder. We don't have that here. All right, that part's done. Next, get my sheet of material. We'll readjust this and I'll put it up there so we can get the layout of how our boxes and panels and stuff are going to fit. And get that cut and drilled so we've got the spacing for our uprights. So, be right back with that. I think that's about as good of an angle as we're going to get. There's my other boxes. So, let's see. Well, probably use this the most. But I can run that wire right through it. If I have the space for it. Where, oh where did my pile of breakers go? Yeah, okay, so I don't want too much space. That's got to go. That one, like that. That one like that. No, I can't do that. What can I do? Oh no, I'm going to have to go this. So put this over here. Put that there. Standoff space. That's a bit better. That one. That one. We'll line those up. I'll run those through there, and that'll have enough space to fit that. Okay, so flip you around and show you how I think this ought to work. So, all right. Down through here is where that big feed wire will come in and tie in ground. Hot. And we'll run from here into here, and that's an outlet with a cover. And then here into there, and that's another outlet. And then using this bottom hole, everybody likes the third hole, right? We'll run this one through and kind of bypass up into here. So this layout, oh yeah, stand up. So we'll put, that's that one. There'll be an outlet. I've lost the other one. And an outlet and two outlets. So scooch that, we'll zap that right down a line there. And flush across the top of the box. I'll have to scooch this in a little more because I'll need a little space to bolt that to that angle iron. And we'll leave it kicked up about that far. So breakers, outlets, that's not too bad. I think that's going to work. So let's make some marks on here. I lost my Sharpie already. It was just in my hand. Huh. Okay. I'll be back when I find my Sharpie and we draw this all out. And then we'll cut it up and on to the next step. we can look at this. So I get the thing and bag up. I got my 4 holes, so we'll get that service panel stuck on and start laying out our other little bits and bobs. So I am short on hardware, so for now we're just going to put 2 in this, and I'm sure someday I'll get around to doing the other 2. I almost definitely will. I need some these are genset, right? We need to take that off. So we'll knock that hole out, and this goes into the box. And then our conduit, and then the other end into this. So first, punch these 2 holes out. Boy, I sure wish I had some real tools. I do have real tools. I have exactly the tools for this job. I just don't have them here now. Good Lord. somewhere right now there's an actual electrician watching this and probably crying. I make no apologies for it. That one came out nicer. So, conduit, what do I want to do? This guy. This one. This. I want as little standoff as I can do. So how far will that sit into there? Did I misplace my marker again? I got it this time. 3/4 and 3/4. So let's do 2 inches. 2 inches twice. And my little, this is for PEX. We're going to see if it'll do this plastic conduit. Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah. It kind of shattered a little. I don't think it likes that. Maybe if I pinch and turn. Oh, it's stuck. That's a little better. Huh. Well, come here. I'm going to see what I fucked up today. Oh, God. Man, I'm bad at this. So that says 3/4. And that says 3/4. No amount of spit's going to make that fit. I think what I've done is I've gotten genset for the metal conduit, and then obviously the Schedule 40 plastic conduit. And metal and plastic 3/4 or 1 inch or 2 inch or whatever is not the same thing. So that's it for today. I'm going back to Lowe's, I guess, to get either metal conduit or plastic genset. Let's open up one of these boxes. Plop you back up there. Because it comes with little metal, or plastic rather, bushes. Non-metallic wiring systems only. I don't know what that means. These don't have a size written on them. They don't, but there are different sized holes, it looks like. And those definitely don't fit. These are threaded, so what threads into here? How does this work? Am I missing parts? I don't know what happened here. I guess that is all we're doing this evening. I'll come back tomorrow with some more parts and a new plan. You hang out. We'll be back. We're back. It's been a few days, but I got this panel pretty much done. We still got to put the covers on. So what we got in here is this is our 240 up to here, and then the 30 amp breaker comes into here. It's 20 amp. I don't know if you can see that. We just used that as a pass-through. I'm sure that's up to code. People are going to love that. The next thing to do is I got this bullshit angle iron. It's a little thin, but it's going to be okay. I got to weld those down so we got something to bolt this to, and then run our feed wire in, and this will be good. Once we get all the covers on, I'll put that cover back on, and we need to adjust this for our power, and according to the shop manual for this, it's the throttle is, the engine RPM is what sets the voltage. So we can see, I don't think that belongs there. This should be on one of those. That doesn't belong there. So we'll try to figure this out. If we remember in 5th grade science class, the closer we get to the fulcrum, the less force this spring will put on, and the further away, the more force. So we'll get that figured out. But I want to get this mounted up and wired in, because it's going to be way easier for me to stick my multimeter, into an outlet and read it, than to try to hold it on the bare wires, not touch them, and become part of the circuit, because shockingly not fun. So that's where we're at. I think I'm going to wrap this video up. I got a new welder donated, so I think that's going to be a separate video. We'll bust that thing out and go through it and see what's up. Yeah, let's weld that and get this thing hopefully tuned up, and this will be it. We'll take it down, we'll fill the fuel tank all the way up, and figure out how we're going to wire it into the building here, and we'll throw up some cheap LEDs. Yeah, and that'll clear out a little space. We can get on with the next project. At some point, I gotta get the mini bike off of that bike stand because we're gonna use that as a workbench for the winter, I think. But that's it. I didn't show me wiring any of this because this isn't a how-to. You're watching me struggle along. This is certainly not up to any sort of US code. So if you want to learn the right way to do something like this, there's a lot of people with much better production quality than I can do, and that actually know what they're doing. I just wanted to show that all this stuff you can go buy, and I mean it's not really difficult to do. If you got a little upgrade or something you need to do at home, don't be scared. It's just strip the wires. The hell, all these outlets even came with instructions. What color goes where. So, don't be scared. The worst that could happen is it blows the breaker out and, you got to buy it, start again. So, that's where we're ending this week. It runs good now. This panel is done. We get those welded on, so that's mounted. And then this will be all the way done. Get that wired into there, and it's done. And then we'll fiddle fuck with the carburetor and governor and linkage and stuff and hopefully get the right amount of power out of it. And then on to the next project, which is going to be sticking that snowplow on the Bolins because, as the man said, winter is coming. And then we got to fix the trailer, so I got something to pull the tractor with the snowplow on. Man, that light's bright. All out of... I probably ought to measure that. That's not a very big shop. That might be 100 square feet of workable moving space I got there. But we got it. We're doing it. So, yeah, we'll wrap this up. That'll be it for this video. Next video is going to be a review of the Temu welder. We'll get that stuck on. And then I'll do a separate video fiddling with that carburetor because it'll have other applications. It'll be the same as your wood chipper, your rototiller, your lawnmower. Not really your lawnmower. Old power units like this. I'm not going to show you how I'm going to hot wire it into the house because you shouldn't do that. And then on with some mechanical stuff. So we'll see you guys later. The next piece. Toodles.